Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about the distance formula and midpoint formula. Both of these formulas you've seen before, especially in geometry, and we use them when we're finding the distance and we're finding the midpoint of an ordered pair. So the first thing, if you remember, is the distance formula. So if I look at point A and point B, I am trying to simply find the distance between these 2 points. So from point A to point B, like that, the shortest distance. One thing you want to remember, if you can remember, we want to find the distance. If I can find the distance vertically and I can find the distance horizontally, the diagonal distance will help me create a triangle. So if you remember, triangles, which form a perpendicular up here, which means it's a right triangle. Therefore, anyone remember, if I have the 2 side lengths, this side length, and I have this side length, what I could do to find the hypotenuse of a right triangle? Pythagorean theorem. So the distance here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. And this distance is 1, 2, 3. All I would need to do is take 8 squared plus 3 squared and set it equal to x squared. So if you remember, 8 squared, 64, and 9 equals x squared, 64, 74, 73 equals x squared, and x equals the square root of 73. And I don't need to worry about positive and negative values because we're talking about distance, therefore distance can't be negative. So the problem is, if I give you a problem like this, which is A is 1, negative 4, and B is 4, 4, do you really want to go back to negative 1, 4, and 4 over 4 and up 4? And do you really feel like plotting the points and then trying to calculate the distance? No. So there is a distance formula, and the distance formula is the change in your x value, and the change in your y value squared. Once you square this, and you square that distance, and then you take the square root of that, that is Pythagorean theorem. So let's look at our distance formula. And let's say we want to call this guy x1, y1, because it's an ordered pair, and x2, y2. Okay. So they're an ordered pair. Remember, that's the biggest mistake people do, is they do x1, x2, but remember it's an ordered pair. So it's x1, y1, x2, y2. So now I'm just going to simply plug it in. So it's going to be x2 is 4 minus 1 squared, and 4 plus 4 because it's a minus a negative squared. So that's 3 squared, 8 squared, that's 9 plus 64, which equals 73, and the final answer, remember, we need to square root it, and so therefore our answer is 8.5. Since I didn't tell you what to round to, but 8.5 would be the answer, round to the nearest tenth. So if you want, let's on this page make sure we write the distance formula. So it's the change in x squared minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, all under the square root. So now, just as a hint, you should do x1, y1, x2, y2, and go ahead and plug it in and solve. Pause the video, try it yourself. So I plugged in 4 minus 2 squared. I did negative 1 minus 3 squared. So I get 4 and then plus 4, negative 4 squared, which is still positive. So that's 16, and I get 20. So the square root of 20 is going to be my answer, and that rounded is 4.5. So we use a little wavy equal sign as an approximate. Okay. So go ahead and please do this one totally by yourself and round your answer to the nearest tenth. So if we look at this, I labeled x1, y1, x2, y2. I plugged in 11 minus a negative 7 is positive. 3 minus a negative 2 is positive. So that's 18 squared plus 5 squared. 324 plus 25. Square root of 349, 18.7. Okay, let's go back to the midpoint formula. If you recall the midpoint, if I had this distance between A and B, still the same distance as before, I now want to locate exactly at the middle. To do this, if I have an ordered pair x1, y1, and the ordered pair x2, y2, I literally want to find the middle. Well, the middle of anything is the average. The middle of two things is the average. So I'm going to take x1 plus x2, and I'm going to divide by 2, because that's how I find an average, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2, and that's my average. That is going to give me an ordered pair, and the midpoint of unordered pairs is an ordered pair. So the midpoint 1, comma, midpoint, x, midpoint y, if you want. Okay? So when I come to this problem right here, I'm literally going to look, if you want to, you can label this x1, y1 again, and x2, y2 separate. And somebody might ask, it does not matter if I called the 8 x2 and 4 y2. It doesn't matter. They're interchangeable as long as you label the pairs. So I'm going to find the average, negative 8 plus 3 divided by 2, comma, 4 plus a negative 4 divided by 2. That's the average. So negative 8 plus 5 is negative 5 halves, comma, 0 over 2 is 0. So that point would be at negative 2.5, or 5 halves is fine. So go ahead and pause the video and do this one, please. And so that's 8 comma negative 3. So that should be pretty easy. You should remember how to do that. All right, let's remember the harder problem of the midpoint. If we look at this, M is the midpoint of AB. So if you sketched yourself a little segment, this is A, this is B. A would be 1 comma 2. B is missing, so I'm going to call that X comma Y. And I give you the midpoint, which is located at 3, 5. So if you kind of think of this logically, 1 plus x has to average to 3. So if we put that in words, 1 plus the other endpoint has to average to the number 3. And at this point, you can use algebra to solve this. So we times by 2, I get 1 plus x equals 6, and I subtract x is 5. Well, you can kind of say that to yourself. If the average has to be 3, it means some number divided by 2 gives you 3, so you know it's a 6. And therefore, 1 plus what number would give you 6? So you can absolutely think about this logically. Writing it out can help, especially if there's negative involved. So let's talk about it out loud. Endpoints are A and B. So to average the endpoints, it's 2 plus y divided by 2. That's how we average something, equals the midpoint. So I put that there. I'm going to multiply by 2. So it's 2 plus y equals 10. And I subtract, and y is 8. And my final answer should always be written as an ordered pair. That B is 5 comma 8. All right, go ahead and try the last problem on your own, and then I'll give you the answer when you're done. Well, hopefully if you did pause the video, that you took negative 2 plus x, because that's your endpoint, and m is your midpoint. So that's what it's equaling. Solve. 0 equaling, and you should have got 4 comma negative 3. Alrighty.